All right, everybody. I think I am live. Give me a little bit of a feedback if you can hear my voice. Is everything okay with the audio? Let's see. Okay, I can see my screen, so this should be good for now. I'll just wait for you to give me some feedback in the comments. Is the audio okay? Can you hear me? Thumbs up? Perfect, okay. I guess we can get started. Hi, Bobby. Great, and you can see the screen correctly. Great, so let me put up my notes. Okay, so today we are going to do a workshop about ArchViz and mindset. Thank you so much for everybody, for being there the last time that we did this. I thought it was a great experiment. People reached out to me telling me that it was great, that they found a lot of value. Give me just 1 second because my dog wants to come inside the office. Hold on. No? Okay. Well, it seems like Alfie changed his mind. He'd rather stay outside. Understandable. Okay, nice to see you, everybody here. So let's just start with the presentation. I have 20 slides for you. I hope that this workshop that we're going to do together is going to be useful to you. Obviously, being this a workshop, I kind of want to give it a little bit of interactivity, so do write messages and questions in the comments so that we can try and answer those maybe after the presentation. So the things that we are going to look at today, we are going to talk about goals and aspirations versus market needs. And so effectively, we're going to look at the reasons why you're getting into ArchViz and why you want to do a career in ArchViz. Then we're going to talk about the difference between a small business, so freelancer, maybe a couple of people working together as freelancers, medium to large to extra large, and why companies grow the way that they do. Then we're gonna be talking also about what goes into building a brand, and we're going to talk about processes. Now, some of these things, they're going to overlap, and we're gonna jump back and forth. Some of the topics we're going to make considerations throughout the presentation. But let's just start by addressing the question, why mindset? Now, in a society that it's full of information, where everybody's telling you how you should be living your life and you should do this and use this trick and do that thing, mindset is the only tool that will help you keeping your eyes on the road and proceed in the direction that you think is right for yourself. You will see there are some analogies with sports, but basically, have you heard the phrase, creatives are the new athletes? Basically, there is an analogy or a parallel, rather, between creatives and sports people, because the mindset that goes into trying to achieve results in the business world are very close to the ones that are used in sports. Let's start by talking about brands, okay? What is a brand? In short, a brand is reputation. So the way you do things and the way people get to know you for the way that you do things end up becoming your brand. Why would you want to build a brand? That's another question that oftentimes people don't seem to understand. A brand basically is a tool that allows you to position yourself in a specific part of a market. When you have a brand, it's easier for you to be found by potential clients because clients will align with the values of that brand that you have built. And so building a brand, whether you decide to stay small or to evolve into a smaller company or a large company, it's going to be one of the biggest priorities when you'll develop your business. Now, the visual components of a brand, they just help to convey and solidify the message that your brand wants to share with the world. So having a logo or having a good Instagram layout of how you make posts, this is not a brand. This is just how you use the visual component to convey the values of a brand. The success of a brand depends also on its uniqueness. And in the field of design, this is a very important notion. If you think of brands like Apple, you know exactly why Apple differs itself from Samsung or from Microsoft, because in the head of anybody, what Apple does is clearer than what, for instance, Samsung or Microsoft does. Now, you might be somebody who hates Apple, and so you'll have a completely different opinion, but eventually the reason why you might buy into an Apple product, it's because of what that brand means to you. Same goes with Nike shoes or the type of energy drink that you like to drink. Another important thing to understand is that brands evolve over time. And this is very important because for brands to stay relevant, they need to follow the trends of a market. They need to follow the trends of society. And so if brands don't evolve, they die. Think of like Blockbuster, for instance, right? They completely ignored the digital transformation that was happening at the time with products, visual products going into stream, movies, shows, and so on and so forth. They stuck to their video cassette, and then they disappeared, right? And this is not an isolated example. There are many other brands that, because they refuse to evolve, then they die. Think of Kodak. Now, the big question is, can you build a brand as a freelancer? And in short, the answer is yes. But your offer needs to be as unique as possible. And in the field of architecture visualization, this is an incredible difficult thing to do because what the market needs is quite standardized. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible, and there are many artists that I can think of who have managed to build a brand, but they have used a very solid strategy to do that. And eventually, one of the reasons why they managed to stay quite successful as a single person brand, it's because they fidelized their own customers. And so they have a small amount of clients that buy work from them, and they give to those clients 100% of their attention. Again, as a freelancer, your brand needs to evolve. This is a big problem when you're on your own. Sorry, I'm getting notifications from Slack. I'm theoretically still at work. I'm at the office in one of the conference rooms here at the Digital Bunch, and I keep getting little notifications. As I was saying, your brand needs to evolve over time, and this is something that it's very difficult for freelancers because freelancers are on their own. And so the amount of effort that goes into evolving themselves as professionals and as brands, it's extremely difficult. Now, let's address the size of each single operation that you might be interested in, going from the smallest to the bigger. you want to start freelancing. The first thing that you have to understand is that you have to define your goals, and you need to make sure that your goals and aspirations align with your clients' goals and aspirations. There are essentially three tools that you can use in order to build your business as a freelancer. Market capital, meaning you need to have clients. Financial capital, meaning you need to have money, because money is a tool that allows you, to go to conferences and find clients there. It allows you to buy the newest software, to buy the newest course where you can learn, the latest AI tools. And then you need to have human capital, which in the size of a one-person company really comes down to your unique selling proposition. So your skills and abilities as a one human company to create work for your client. Now, in the textbooks, when you, pick up any entrepreneurship book, they'll tell you that if you have less than two of these three tools required, your company is a given that it's going to fail. And so starting a freelance business, you need to make sure that at least you have market capital. This is a generalization because I know that most freelancers, that's what they struggle with. They don't have clients. They don't have clients to start with. And at least they need to have the right unique selling proposition. And so the ability to produce great work. If you have financial capital on top of that, that's a great plus. The absurd in this is that you can actually have financial capital and a very small market capital, and you still have more chances at succeeding as if you had no skills in making visualizations. And that's because as a one person, you can actually go out in the world, find clients, and then hire somebody to do the work for you. Obviously, this is already moving in the direction of building a small company, but this is the absurd of working in our field. A lot of people think it's about the skills, it's about your ability to make extremely good work. In reality, the ability of making extreme good work is the buy-in in this industry. It's the minimum requirement. Now, we talked about your goals and aspirations, right? A lot of people that go into freelancing, they do it often for the wrong reason. I'm going to make a generalization here. I'm not saying that this is your specific case, but a lot of people that come to me asking me for tips on how to start freelancing, basically they tell me, look, I want to do it because I want to have more free time. I want to have, time to spend with my family. I want to travel more. I want to work on projects that are more important to me, more important projects. The reality is that when you get into the market, what clients expect from you, they expect fast work, good work, and cheap work. And they need it by Monday morning. So in reality, you need to know what to expect before starting a freelance gig. I remember talking about the goals and aspirations of freelancers to some business owners of other companies. And when we were talking about this topic, this person, I don't want to say the name, said to me, I feel almost guilty in saying that. It's like, but freelancers are the meat that you throw at the dogs when you go and fight, And I got to think, I was like, it is a fight, and it's crazy to think that, freelancing actually gives you freedom and the ability to work on projects that are, the projects that you get to pick. This is very rare, and in reality, what you should expect is the worst. So the question now is, are you sure that you're ready to start fighting? Now, where do I start as a freelancer? this is a big question that a lot of people ask all the time. And the most simple answer to this is that you should start with friends and family. Think of anybody in your circle that could need your help. Another thing that it's important to remember is that you should respect the evolution of becoming a freelancer and work with better clients, because the people that you can help at the beginning of your career will also go through an evolution in their career. And so say that you just finished architecture school, you start freelancing for somebody that might need a project that it's a small project, insignificant project. 5 to 7 years down the line, as your skills grow and improve, those people will grow into seniors in organizations that might actually need better work and more important work. And so I tell you this because as a freelancer, you might come in and say, oh, I've already been doing this for 2-3 years. I'm so tired already. The reality is that the time that you need to put into growing that business, it's also depending on the context and the players that you can get involved in your growth as a professional. The other people that I would target personally is other visualization studios. And this is, like where people often say to me, well, if I wanted to have a job, I would just get a job. But the reality is that you have much better chances to build relationships with visualization studios that might need the extra help when the extra work comes, than to go out in the wild and get your own clients. Because visualization studios, they're looking for your skills. They're looking for that added value that you can bring to the project. The client, as we have seen before, they're more interested in having cheap work, good work, and they want to have it fast, right? And so the paradox here is that by freelancing for visualization studios, you actually have more chances to grow professionally than if you went out in the wild and you did your own thing with your own clients. Obviously, you might make less money on every project, but by having a good network of other Viz studios that rely on you being present and available when they need you, you actually have a chance to have more work throughout the year. Now, getting paid right, doing a superb job is a must all the time. Let me break this phrase down because it seems obvious, but there is a whole truth that we need to unpack here. I just want to say this. I have massive respect for any freelancer. It doesn't matter if you're getting paid 100 euros for rendering or if you're getting paid 2,000 euros. It takes incredible courage to go out in the wild and do your own thing and to trust yourself that you can actually do that thing. But it comes a point where you need to establish your boundaries and you need to start getting paid right. Because getting paid right is going to give you the money that you need in order to keep developing yourself. At the same time, you cannot get there without doing a superb job. So you see, this is a little bit like a dog biting its own tail, because you might be like, well, I only get very bad clients that are not willing to pay, so I'm gonna do, a job that it's not fantastic, because I don't care, projects move fast, I have to do 10 images per week, so I don't care. The problem with that is that you're going to get stuck in that loop of doing bad job and getting paid bad money if you don't get out of this loop. Say that you understand this concept, and so great, you're starting to add value to the projects of your clients. You're now at a point in your career where you should be asking yourself, hey, am I really delivering value with the work that I do? How can you answer that question? Well, think about this. Do you design when clients come to you? Like, do you do just a visualization, or do you get involved in the design process? Some people might think, well, I'm just a visualizer. Why should I design? It's not my job, it's the client job. But there is value in designing. And so that ability of designing, even though it's not your job, adds automatically value to your work. Do clients trust you when there is something that needs to be done? Do they come to you and say, hey, okay, let's listen to what this guy has to do, because, so do they give you that freedom to say, hey, I contribute to the design process? I have made a while ago a video where I talk about the value price switch conversation, which is essentially a negotiation tool that allows you to talk about value instead of price. This is something that not everybody can use. You can only use these tools when you actually add value to the projects that you get involved in, right? And so for you to understand whether or not you're delivering value, you need to start asking yourself these questions. Again, say that you get to the point where you're adding value, clients are happy with the work that you're doing, you finally feel like you're getting paid the right amount of money. This becomes a period of transition for many. People can decide to continue doing whatever it is that they're doing, or they move forward and they start building something. The evolution that goes through this process is natural. However, you should always remember that it's guided by vision. If you do not have vision, or if you do not have at least a sense of where it is that you want to go, then it'll be very easy for you to lose track of where it is that you're going. Now, my girlfriend got me on coconut water because she says that I drink too much Red Bull. There is no caffeine in this thing, so I apologize for having a very low rhythm today. Let's talk a little bit about the processes that you need to implement in your company when you want to actually transition into creating a company. The first one, it's quality assurance. And so you need to start creating processes that allow you to control the quality of the work that you produce. Now, you might have some of these processes already as a one-man show, or 2 or 3 freelancers working together. But when you transition into a company, this process needs to be solidified. You need to have a clear idea of how to create things and how to make sure that the stuff that gets out of the office and goes to your client is properly art directed. Another process that you have to include is marketing and communication. If you do not have marketing and activities of for your company, it's going to be very difficult to put out the message out there that you want to share with the world. Communication and marketing are very much connected to one another. And eventually, when you take marketing, communication, and social media, we refer to this as the 2.5 pieces process, and it's a circular process because it allows you to make sales. I think I've made some other videos about this topic, but basically the idea is that marketing is the planning of how you're going to communicate. Communication can happen through social media, but it can also happen in real life. And so when this loop closes, you basically have a communication tool that allows you to reach out to clients, or it allows clients to see you and come to you. Then there is financials and sales. These 2 projects at the scale of a company, say up to 15 people, can be a single one. In a bigger company, it starts to separate. There are people that take care of sales, and there's people that will take care of financial, but the 2 are very tightly connected. And this is a process that is very important because it allows you to control whether or not you have liquidity, and so money that allow you to pay the bills, pay your employees, and of course a process in place to make sales, so to chase clients, chase payments, or nurturing sales. We talked about it in previous videos. Now, as time passes and the business grows, you will have to define certain parameters within which your company can thrive. These parameters are basically what we refer to as company values. These values, you don't have to come up with it. They'll be the direct result of your beliefs and your personal experiences being in the business, okay? When your values are clear, you will start to attract the right people, both for your organization, and so people that will want to work for you, artists that will see your work and be like, I'll be a dream of mine to work for your company. But also you'll start to attract clients, because clients will get to know you, they'll see your work, they'll understand what it is that you stand for, and if those values align, then those people will be willing to work with you. Great, so now you have company values, you have processes in place that allow you to do things good. You've made it, you've created a brand. And so what? One thing that you have to understand, and this is where certain companies separate themselves from others. Think of Mir, right? Artists are very good at telling their client stories, and that's where they put most of their effort, but they suck at telling their own story. And so for a brand to stay strong and to stay relevant, you need to spend time telling your story to the world. Now, I can give you a very simple example, a live example of the work that we do here at the Digital Bunch. We have our 9 to 5, in certain cases is 9 to 8, 9 to 10. We still make time after the production is done to sit down, write scripts, and think of ways that we can tell our story to the world. And sometimes when we don't have the time during the week and the production, we find that time during the weekend. Some people might say, it's a little bit too extreme and it's work that, you should enjoy yourself and take some time off. But the reality is that what matters to us is that we want to build a brand. And so if we do not find the time, we have to make the time. And so this is an effort that I can guarantee you a lot of people don't like to make, because it takes time away from other things that might be more important to you, and there is no shame in that, but it's something that you have to understand. If you struggle with building your own brand, you will have to make the time to tell that story, right? And nobody's going to do it for you. Now, at this point, you've built a brand, you are a big company, maybe 10 to 15 people. It seems like 15 is the magic number for creativity. And this is because up until that number, it seems like it's still manageable for a business owner of a company to be involved in the creative process, but also being able to manage the business side of things, right? At this point, you'll have to make a decision. Do you want to scale up? Do you want to stay in that position, or do you want to scale down? And this really comes down to what matters to you. There is no shame in scaling down, and there is no glory in scaling up. Often people, see big companies and they're like, oh my God, they're so cool. It's great. This is what I want to do. It's so cool, like having a company with 100, 150 people. The reality is that evolution still happens naturally. It's not something that you should force. And as far as my experience goes, the people that I've talked to that were in this position, they really had to make a conscious decision to whether go small and be happy or keep pushing forward, because they were never satisfied with what they were doing, right? So this is an important thing to remember for yourself. So now let's talk about the processes that need to go into creating a larger company. You'll have to have HR, and so, people that take care of human resources. When I was working for Chaos Group, I entered the company when they had recently gone to 200 people. The team went from being 40 people to almost 200 in a very short time. And I came in just around that time. I think it was 2017, something like that, 18. And I remember having a conversation with one person from Chaos Group because, I had to do something, and the manager that was in charge was on a team building exercise. And I was like, every time that I call somebody here in this company, they all seem to be doing team building exercise. And what the guy said to me, he said, man, when you have 200 people in a company, the task number one is not to kill each other. And so, that really made me think of how complex it is to run an operation of that size, right? When you have a company that is this big, it's very easy for people to feel lost and to feel like, they're just a small fish in a big pond. And so together with HR, you also have processes in places to allow for people to have a career progression, because otherwise people will enter the company, stay 2 or 3 years, and then they'll leave. You have to have, again, quality assurance, and you have more processes attached to quality assurance. You have project management, art director, sales will be attached to also production. So, the processes, they become a lot more complex. You'll have to have internal branding, and so, the branding that you'll do for your own company, but also for your employees. And another thing that we don't talk enough in this field is you'll have to have investments. When you have a company that generates enough capital, and this capital stays in the bank, keeping that capital in the bank will make you a loss every year, because you'll have to pay taxes. And so you will have to have part of your company part of the capital of your company being invested, because those investments are going to generate a liquidity, maybe a smaller liquidity, but it's going to be a liquidity nevertheless that it's going to help you when times are rough. Remember that, a creative company is run mainly because there is a creative endeavor behind it. And so having investments will give you the tools to say, hey, this was a bad month. We have, a few bills to pay. You can take money from those investments and sort of balance things out. Let's talk about processes. Very simple. I think that people tend to overcomplicate processes. Basically, if something works, document it, describe it, test it, teach it, and improve it, right? Just like making images, you can follow a very standard script on how to make images. Things like sales, how to make social media marketing can actually be described, and they can be tested. And if things can be improved, then they should be improved. Processes really are created in order to make sure that the company runs correctly, right? The bigger the company, the more processes you will have. Now, a mistake that sometimes some companies do is that the processes, they become almost like politics. And so people lose their creative freedom within these processes. But there is a way to create processes that allow people to stay creative. And as a matter of fact, when I was at Elephant Skin, one of the things that I think was the most successful one that I did was to create a creative process for art direction that was basically bottom-up approach. We let artists find creative solutions for the projects that our clients required. We went with those suggestions to the client, and then we got the feedback. instead of a more traditional top to bottom approach, which is, you know, the owner of the company knows everything, is the best artist who ever existed, tells the artists how to do things. The artists don't understand because they're, closed in a creative box, and then the work needs to be done 3, 4, 5 times. And so basically that's what a process is. Now, let's draw some conclusions. I want to keep this fast. I don't know how long we've been going on. I hope that I'm not boring you. If you're just starting out, the first thing that you should do is to define your goals, define your vision, and make sure that you have the tools. If you do not have the tools, it means that you need a little bit more experience. Get a job, pace yourself, learn things better, save up some money, and then take one step after the other, following the natural evolution of your career. When you move into creating a smaller company, move forward, but do not push things too much. Allow yourself that time to evolve into a larger company. Then understand your scale, what it is that you want to build, try to tell your story, and evolve. Evolution is the only key to stay relevant. When you get to building a larger company, if that's what you're aiming for, do understand that at this point you are no longer in the design business, you are in the management business. And remember that consistency will always be the key. And this is something that I wanted to make a little bit a point using the parallel of ski as a sport. I don't know if you guys know, but I used to be a professional skier. When I was training for as a giant slalom athlete, basically my only job was to get on top of the mountain and do a course 20-25 times a day. And at the end of the course, my trainer will tell me basically the same thing over and over. And the idea was that over a period of like 3-4 months, however long was the ski season, that I would actually make an improvement. And as you start and you're a total beginner and you start with the first competition, the improvement is huge. It's 50%, right? Then the year after it goes down to 30%. Then that improvement goes down to 15%. Then the next year is 7%. And then it goes down to 3%, 1%. And to a certain point, the whole training that you do, when it gets you closer to the best in the world, it's just for you to keep you at that level. And the same thing goes with running a business. You see, I make these videos with the hope to inspire people and to teach them something, but the reality is that the only person that are really in control of their lives are those who decide every single day to get on top of the mountain and do 25 courses where they do the same thing over and over and they just get better at it day by day, year by year, right? And so this is really the key, to have that consistency to say, hey, year in and year out, I'm just going to commit to this and I'm going to continue doing my best and I'm going to motivate myself to do the best thing over and over and over and try to be consistent. The last piece of suggestion that I want to give you is you'll go through life as a professional going through 3 stages of existence. The first one is fear. When you're going to start something new, maybe a new course, maybe you want to pick up a new tool, you're going to start and it's going to be scary. Then you're going to go through uncertainty because you're going to compare yourself with others and you're going to have self-doubt and you're going to say, am I really cut for this? Can I really make it? The only thing that will set you apart will be the amount of work that you put into the thing that you're doing. And so again, you should not aim at having instant results. I do something and I want to see something happen out of it. But you should just put yourself through that cycle over and over again until you make things work for yourself, because ultimately you don't really have any other choice, right? You can sit back and complain about the market being bad and about things not being ideal, but the reality is that there will always be somebody else who will figure out how to make things work for themselves, whilst you beat yourself down and you'll convince yourself that there is no way to get out of this. Okay? And that's it. That's everything that I wanted to share for this, quick workshop. I now want to leave a little bit of time for some questions. I hope that there are some questions, and otherwise, I just want to thank you for watching this. I'm really appreciative of the fact that, you guys tune in to watch my videos, and that's it. So let's wait and let's see if there are some questions. Hi, Andres. My pleasure, my pleasure. Hi, Ahmad. Hi, Vinicius. Hi, Anis. I hope it was useful. I can stop this. Actually, one thing that I could do for the questions now is to maybe make my big Italian face a little bit bigger so that you can see me a little bit better. And let's see if there are some questions. Thank you, Mr. Mint. Thank you. Thank you, Sven. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate it. Hi, Georgi. Hi, Rakesh. My pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you, Davide. Curious to see if there are any questions. Davide, I would say start in a studio. Really start in a studio. Do that first. It will give you an insight into how things work, and I believe that it's the first stepping stone. Client management, yes. Actually, there is a video that I'm planning to do. I want to do it with one of our producers. She's fierce, man. And I want to bring her perspective on this because, I do sales, but client management is something else. And she's amazing at doing this. So, I'm trying to... There are two pieces of content that I'm trying to organize with people from the digital bunch. One is the management of the production of a project. And there is an artist who is amazing and is incredibly creative and super knowledgeable. And the other one is client management. So, these are two topics that I would like to address. But right now we're in the midst of we're going to a conference in Germany. Then we will be in Brazil. We'll come back. We will go to Dubai, then Riyadh, then Barcelona. It's going to be a crazy time going around. I'm hoping that I can actually film and document the whole thing through vlogs, like the vlogs that I used to do a while ago. But yeah, it's in the plan for me to talk about client management, but also the production from the point of view of a company with we are 45 right now. So, bring you the insights also of a company that it's a little bit bigger. Okay, guys, I don't see any questions. I do understand that it's a little bit difficult, to just come up with questions if you do not have any in that you might have thought of. But just write them in the comments later on when you come up with it, and we can address those later. Ralph, just get in touch with them. Tell them what it is that you do. Go and talk to them. In Romania, there are incredible offices. There are beautiful places that make incredible work. Just get in touch with them. If you want to go and chase your own clients, do that. But at the same time, I will get a job. We have a politic here in our company that people are still free to do their own work. It was the same also in Elephant Skin, people were, you know, able to do their own work on their free time. Get a job. You know, companies are very open to the idea of you doing your own thing whilst working for them, if of course you can deliver good work for them. So, you know, I would start with that conversation first. Also because right now it's probably not the best time, at least in Europe, to go out and look for clients. But, you know, try whatever you need to do to make it happen for yourself. Anyway, guys, I realized that it's 6:51. I was hoping for this to be only 30 minutes long. I thought I would be a lot faster in delivering this, but I just want to thank you again for, you know, taking the time to watch this. I would appreciate if you leave a like, maybe if you share this video, you know, it will help me a ton. Want to wish you all a great day. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we will see each other hopefully on Monday, Tuesday. Let's see, okay? Have a good one for now, and we'll see each other soon.